Judy Garland ought to have been rich by the time she passed away. She starred in The Wizard of Oz, one of the most influential and profitable films of all time. However, living as a symbol was damaging. Garland was in her 40s, nearly homeless, and owed thousands of dollars in unpaid taxes to the IRS in the late 1960s. She supported herself by performing in bars for $100 per night. She had a history of diseases which had left her depressed and suicidal. Hollywood's system was challenging. Do you realize how difficult it is to be Judy Garland? What kind of life can you imagine that is harsher than the one I've lived, than the one I've had to do? She said. Judy Garland's brutal childhood also served her fall from grace, a life of pain and depression as an adult. Despite her extraordinary talent, her lifestyle prevented her from having a real chance. When she couldn't see the yellow brick road, she chose another route, the one that brought her unexpected danger. Judy Garland cemented her place in Hollywood as a beloved icon as Dorothy, the sweet and caring Kansas farm girl who only wants to return home after finding herself in the land of Oz, captivated audiences from the first scene. But the road to and the making of the 1939 classic was far more perilous as you would think. Garland was put up with excruciatingly long work hours and a studio system that encouraged the use of stimulants to keep performers working and sleeping pills to ensure they could rest. By the time Garland was 17, she was addicted to barbiturates and amphetamines. Her drug use had begun before she slipped into those ruby slippers, thanks in part to studio executives who demanded she stay thin and energetic enough to cope with the long days of filming. Substance abuse would become an issue she would battle for the rest of her life until she died of an overdose at the age of 47, leaving behind 3 children, 5 marriages, and an artistic legacy that was often overshadowed by her tragedies. She suffered a nervous breakdown in 1947 after a string of MGM musical hits. Her tardiness and absence from film sets caused her to be fired from the Barclays of Broadway, Annie Get Your Gun, and Royal Wedding, as her marriage to Vincent Minnelli caused her stress and her addiction spiraled out of control. She tried to commit suicide twice, divorced Minnelli, and left MGM. Garland's insecurities had dominated her since she was a young girl, and they were only relieved when she felt adoration from an audience. She concentrated on losing weight whenever she gained weight. Whenever she had to cancel an event, she'd play a string of concerts to make up for it. Garland had been a star since she was 16 years old and didn't know how to be anything else. The stress of Hollywood had physically destroyed her, but it was still what brought her happiness. Her celebrity was so great that she couldn't stop performing even when her voice and body were failing. One of the tragedies that led to her death was the stress of performing, but her refusal to give up is why she lives on as an icon. Click here to watch this video next.